And now it's time for The Late Show with your host, Patty Jack.
How's it going, everyone? I'm that socially awkward gamer you probably forgot existed. Otherwise known as Patty Jack. I'm not talking about video games today. I'm talking about literally the greatest movie-going experience of all time. I'm here with my friend Cole. Cole, how are you doing today?
I am in awe, Patty. I am in awe. I really don't know how to describe this movie.
So, we just went and saw the first night of... This was the first release, right? This was release date of Gods of Egypt. Holy shit. Where do you start with this masterpiece?
I don't know. I am at a loss.
Okay, so we're going to start out by breaking down what the plot synopsis on IMDb is. Would you like me to do it? Okay. Mortal hero Beck, which is spelled B-E-K for some reason, teams with the god Horus in an alliance against Set, the merciless god of darkness who has usurped Egypt's throne, plunging the once peaceful and prosperous empire into chaos and conflict. Would you say that describes the movie accurately?
Those are words.
Those are words that are a thing. Alright, so, can I go ahead and describe my favorite scene in this movie?
I think we should first describe what the movie is about from our perspective.
Okay, so the movie is basically about this guy who decides that he wants to steal things and they love gods. And then the gods bleed gold.
And turn into giant metal monsters.
Yeah. So they literally, like, go all Beast Wars and randomly transform into, like, you know, like the Anubis, like, Egypt things and everything. And they randomly bleed gold all the time. And everything was great. You know, all the gods and the mortals were living in peace and harmony. And then Gerard Butler happens.
And then Gerard Butler enters his inner Nicolas Cage shines through in what is the best performance that will happen this year no matter what. It's early, but nothing will beat half Scottish, changing his mind, deciding he doesn't want to be Scottish halfway through the movie, getting rid of that accent, but still screaming and acting completely over the top.
Yeah, I swear to God, he was Scottish during it. And, I mean, every accent in this movie was terrible.
All over the place.
Absolutely awful. Half of them sounded British, the other were American, and
no one sounded Egyptian.
No, I don't know what the Egyptian accent is, but it was
not what we heard.
No, it was not that. And I'd like to also point out that they said that Egypt was like the first civilization, and I was like, okay, Egypt is now Mesopotamia, and, you know, it's Sumerians. That's cool. That's fine. And, you know, that I can forgive, because it's a plot line in a movie and everything. And okay, so everything's all fine in this Egyptian fucking, like, metropolis. There's pyramids everywhere, everyone's happy. And then you have Jaime Lannister. I don't know his real name. He's just Jaime Lannister. He is supposed to be the new king. But then the king's brother, Gerard Butler, comes along and is like, hey, I think that what you guys are doing is wrong, and we should enslave all mortals. And then, you know, Jaime Lannister's dad is like, no, don't do that. That's probably bad. So then obviously he gets stabbed for it. And then they transform into weird animal transformers and fight. And then Butler kind of, you know, like, becomes king and everything.
Mm-hmm. But they don't just fight. The camera does about 90-360 shots around them within the span of a minute. It's just constantly circling each of them while they're fighting in the air, on the ground, throwing each other through buildings, killing millions of civilians.
Yeah, so, like, you know in the start of Star Wars when they first zoom in on BB-8 and it does that, like, around, like, circling 360 shot? They do that with every punch in the fucking movie.
It's amazing.
And the entire thing is CGI, though, so it looks terrible.
If by terrible you mean amazing in something that a true visionary director would do?
No, I take it back. They couldn't do it in the parts where the green screen was obviously literally just a wallpaper the back of the studio.
Oh my god. What's the budget on this fucker?
Wasn't you said it was like 240 million?
It was something like that. It's big. Some stuff looked really good.
Oh yeah, no,
and some green screen looked like a YouTube video.
I loved it. It looked like me doing the weather.
Oh, it was. It went from like really decent looking, bright colors to just a wallpaper in the background trying to say your lines properly, and
yeah. Okay, so basically, Gerard Butler gets the upper hand. He like gouges out Jaime Lannister's eyes, so then he can't see, right? And then this other mortal guy is like, I'm going to go get his eye back so I can save everything because I really like my girlfriend. And they do that, and then they go on an adventure together.
Now, let me say something.
Okay.
When you say he gets his eyes gouged out, that sounds awesome. It is not awesome in the movie because it's PG and it's just like this blue orb getting sucked out of his face and then, oh no, he doesn't have eyes. You make it sound like he like rips into his face and rips out his eyeballs, but unfortunately, this movie doesn't have violence. So whenever the gods bleed, the gods would bleed gold or have blue orbs come out of them.
But it makes it so much better.
I agree with you in certain ways. I guess the eyes getting gouged out was pretty funny. We laughed pretty hard.
Because like 2 seconds later, they go back to show fucking Lannister's face, and all you see is just Jaime Lannister with his eyes closed.
Oh, the director literally just said, you have no eyes. Close them. We can't see them now. Okay.
So then they go through the whole storyline of Jaime Lannister and the other kid, like, not liking each other and not understanding one another because they come from different cultures, and one was like a higher up being, and they have to learn to work together. This kid is I'm not going to say he's a terrible actor. I'm going to blame literally all of it on his ADR work. I don't think that kid had ever had to ADR before in his life.
I want you to take Anakin from the prequels.
Mm-hmm. And mix him with Anakin from episode 1.
Yeah, Anakin from episode 2 mixed with Anakin from episode 1, hanging out with Jaime Lannister, trying to make jokes and failing miserably.
You know,
but the people in the theater still think they're funny and laugh, which then makes us laugh even harder at them laughing at the absence of jokes.
No, and to be fair, this movie is hilarious. And I don't even like you know when you say like, oh, something's so bad it's good. I'm talking like, it is hilarious. Not because it's like bad, but just the things that they do.
The money is spent in such stupid ways. I don't know what happened to this budget. Oh, wait, we need to talk about one of the fantastic scenes that they spent way too much money on. Chris, can you please explain your favorite scene of the movie?
Okay. My favorite scene of this movie was when Jaime Lannister decides to be Optimus Prime and turn into a bird, fly up into space with this Hayden Christensen kid, land on a space pirate ship, go talk to his grandpa. His grandpa then decides that, okay, everyone needs to hold on, I got someone else I need to take care of. And he turns into Perfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z, walks up onto the bow of his space pirate ship, and starts shooting a giant space whale worm, and I swear to God, reenacting Moby Dick for like 5 minutes.
Is there any context given towards this, or is it literally just a random Moby Dick scene?
Not until after the scene. So when you're sitting in the theater, you're just so confused. The entire time, he just walks onto the bow. This giant worm thing randomly appears, and he starts shooting lasers at it out of this staff.
It's fire.
Fire? No, they were lasers.
There were fire lasers.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll go with that. And then he just walks off and says, okay, now what did you want to talk about again?
I would also like to point out that this movie has confirmed that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, the Earth was... They fly up into the spaceship, and the Earth is literally...
A pancake.
Yeah, no, it was like it looked like a concrete slab.
Okay, that works.
And he just flies around the sun. Oh, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm pretty sure the entire movie, the Earth was just Egypt.
Yes.
It wasn't the rest of anything.
It said civilization hasn't been created yet, except for Egyptians.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Those Mesopotamians, man. They weren't real people.
Good.
They were all like chimpanzees.
Mm-hmm. So, we need to get back to Gerard Butler. We're not done with this yet.
Okay.
It's the best part of the entire movie. Just seeing him try to play a villain in of itself is hilarious. Seeing him change accents from scene to scene and shout every second line is hilarious.
He was the best character in that movie.
Because he just starts killing people.
Yep.
He just, murders women.
Yep.
Murders men, does not give a fuck.
Murders, his entire family.
Yeah, he does not care. And then turns into Super Shredder at the end.
Well, Super Shredder Anubis, kind of.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah. He goes full Super Shredder.
You did find the secret of the ooze.
Secret of the Ooze.
That's the sequel to Gods of Egypt.
So he's obviously the best character, and you can tell that Butler had so much fun with this movie.
Either that, or he was so miserable he just screamed every line to get it over with.
I don't think so. No, the way he delivers his joking lines and everything, you can
tell.
Failed.
Everyone failed at delivering the jokes.
He was great at them.
No, they were given the script.
Yeah, he looked at the script, realized they were terrible, and was like, I'm going to make this as corny as I can. So, power to him for that.
That wasn't the intention.
You know what? I don't agree with that. I think that was his intention as an actor.
What's your favorite line in the movie, Chris?
We are going to die.
Thanks, Hayden Christensen.
Oh, okay, so... In the movie, they're falling. Him and the mortal kid and Jamie Lannister are falling down a waterfall, and Jamie Lannister's been knocked out, and they're about to land on the rocks or whatever cliche, right? And the kid's like, "We are going to die," and Jamie Lannister wakes up and saves them after that.
Yeah, I forgot that he was asleep at that point. That he was knocked out? Isn't that what it was?
Something, I don't even know. I have no idea. Okay. He had just slaughtered some minotaurs, and to be fair, that action scene was fucking awesome.
Can I point out something that the movie never explains? Why does he have RoboCop sight?
Oh, because
where randomly he turns into a
because
cyborg?
He's the bird. No. He's the god of air and flight, right? So he's the bird, and birds have good hawks have good vision.
That's fucking stupid.
That's Egypt lore, obviously. Okay. Egypt lore states that when you're a god, that first you're white.
Yes.
And then
everything is made of metal when you're in god form.
Yeah, if you're a god and you're gonna be a king or a prince, you're white. Obviously, this is in Egypt lore. This is true, and you have to have long hair. You have to look really good, and you turn into
unless you're Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler looked amazing in that movie,
but he didn't have long hair.
He looked like Tony Stark,
but he didn't have long hair.
Yeah, but he also wasn't meant to be king.
I disagree. He was so good.
Yeah, he should have just won.
He should have won.
No. And then you have to be able to turn into a metallic transformer bird.
Or an old man with a giant robe looking like the Pope with a flamethrower.
Yeah, this is real Egypt lore. Also, there were no mummies in this movie.
Holy shit.
I mean,
there was a sphinx for one scene.
Yeah?
And then it ended
bother.
I literally think they were trying to write a scene with a Sphinx. And they're like, how the fuck do we end it? The writer's like, oh, bother. They're like, oh, that's a really good line.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll have the Sphinx show up, and they'll be, like, trying to get past it. Answer my riddle. And then they'll get it right, and the Sphinx will say, oh, bother, and he'll disappear. After building up to, you have to face the Sphinx for 20 goddamn minutes.
Okay. It's also so stupid how that entire scene played out, though. So, the guy tries to answer the question. Because they have to get into this fucking, like, moving pyramid and answer, like, the Sphinx's riddle. You know, I've heard of this before. I've seen it before, right? But they go there, and the super smart guy tries to answer the riddle, and he gets it wrong, right? So the Sphinx is supposed to, like, not let you pass afterwards and try to kill you. Mm-hmm. So he starts doing that. But then the guy just keeps trying to answer the question, and the Sphinx keeps listening to him. It's like, if you're just gonna keep listening to him, why are you even trying to kill him? Why not just let him keep doing it until he leaves? It's like, he couldn't have been guarding it then, because if he's guarding it, then you get, like, one chance, and then you'd be done.
But the real question is, what did he think of the smart guy's performance?
He was a slightly better actor than the mortal kid. But this guy, it's like he showed up on set one day and they told him, okay, you need to act super smart. Because this guy's character was like, he was the
God of Wisdom?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
I'm fucking ashamed
Wisdom,
of myself
intelligence,
for
or something like
God
that.
Damn it.
It's the whole thing, like, where he's trying to, like, procure all the knowledge in the world so he knows everything, right? And they told him to act smart. And his version of acting smart is going, I see. This is what we will do about this. I do not believe you. I see.
It's like a flamboyant Spock.
It wasn't even flamboyant.
It's kind of flamboyant.
He would just go, I see what you mean. And then every time he would do that, he would just put his, like, finger up to his lips.
Maybe it wasn't even the way he said it. Maybe it was his, like, motions that made me think flamboyant.
See, I didn't get flamboyant. I just got, I got egghead and intelligent, right? But it was not in, like, any Egyptian or god way. It was just, like, in the weird... It was weird.
This entire movie is weird.
It didn't suit his his persona or anything, or his character. It was just, like...
This movie is so weird. It has Gerard Butler beating up his ex-wife, Goddess, and cutting off her wings so she can't be a goddess anymore.
Can I point out her wings turned into doors afterwards as well?
They did.
Yeah, you noticed that too, right?
Yes, I did.
He cuts off the wings, and then the wings just, like, fold up, but they turn into a door.
Like a metal door.
Like, I could put that in my house, and it would look great. It would be a lovely furnishing in my house.
So, he murders her. He doesn't murder her, does he?
Yep, he does.
He does kill her. Okay.
Yep, so he's trying to... He's okay. Gerard Butler literally becomes a Bionicle as well.
Yes.
Like, because you know when you get, like, more than one Bionicle when you're a kid and you decide that you're going to just mix and match everything? Gerard Butler literally does that, except he tries to, like, steal all the gods' defining features.
He was like ice and fire and all of the other Bionicles that I can't think of off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
What was the green one? Earth? No, that was brown.
Yeah, green? The green one was nature or some bullshit. I don't know.
Fuck. Why the hell were those popular?
Dude, they're great. Okay, that's discussion for another day and why you're wrong, but...
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so Gerard Butler literally, like, steals her wings and then, like, steals the smart guy's brain and becomes, like, the super Bionicle boss monster.
He theoretically gouges out someone's eyes and puts them in his own head.
Where did he put his eyes? Oh, no, he only put one of the eyes in, but he became like a triclops.
Yeah, so he puts the smart guy's brain in his head.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with good vision's eye takes those out, takes one.
Jamie Lannister's eye.
Mm-hmm. And then cuts off his ex-wife's... Wait, no, I still think it's his wife.
I feel like they were ex-wife by this point.
I don't think God's believe in divorce.
You know what? I feel like at that point, when you're cutting off her wings, there's some serious relationship issues.
Mm-hmm. But I thought they could work through it.
Yeah, but she was also, like, you know, forming up a rebellion and trying to wage war against him.
Yeah, well, that's what every relationship is.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But, so, let's see. Wings, sight, brain. Is there anything else?
He stole his dad's staff, so he couldn't, shoot at the space whale anymore.
Yeah, but then the space whale worm started eating Earth.
Okay.
Flat Earth.
And Gerard Butler was on their side about this, which made no sense. Because the entire thing was Gerard Butler not wanting to go to the afterlife so he could stay on Earth and rule it. So then he brings the space worm whale in to, eat the world that he wants to rule.
I think he wants to... The space whale worm wants to eat the world so he can create a new one. Because he's all of the gods at this point, right?
But when was it ever established that they can create things?
I think that we're applying logic to a movie.
Yeah. Also, the entire thing about the space whale worm is that it wanted to drink the river.
Yep.
And then that would end it wanted to drink the Nile, and then that would end the world.
Yep.
And to be fair, in that world, I guess the Nile is the only water source, but...
They also wanted to get water from, what was the water?
It was water from the space pirate ship.
Yeah, so they got water from the space pirate ship, and then they were going to throw that in, Gerard Butler's house.
I don't know.
And then that would get rid of the desert. This entire movie makes no sense.
But they had the water, and then they tried to pour it into, Mount Doom.
Yeah.
Inside
But
Gerard
it didn't
Butler's
work!
house.
They spent, fucking 40 minutes trying to get the water, and then Gerard Butler's just a prank, bro, and was like, you can't defeat me.
And they did the liar revealed.
Oh my god.
They did the liar revealed storyline with Jamie Lannister and the fucking mortal kid.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. Okay. So also, when they're in Gerard Butler's house over by the Mount Doom hole,
so they fight the Sphinx, which we've gone over.
Mm-hmm. Then they get trapped in that cage, right?
Oh Jesus
So
Christ!
the mortal kid isn't trapped in the cage, and Jamie Lannister and his love interest chick are, because obviously
the
there's
goddess
a
of love, Chris.
Yeah. And we'll get to her powers in a bit. So
Jedi mind tricks.
Yes, on snakes. So we'll get to that.
Jesus
so
Christ, we haven't got that.
Jamie Lannister and his love interest chick are trapped in this cage that's sprung up around them because there's just cages everywhere.
Like a giant bear trap.
Yeah, except Jamie Lannister managed to stop the bear trap from crushing them with his staff. Yeah, more or less. And they do the entire sequence of Gerard Butler finding the mortal kid and stopping him from going through with their plan and everything and all that stuff. And then Gerard Butler leaves and the place starts collapsing. And then all of a sudden, Jamie Lannister just destroys the cage. Mm-hmm. He just gets a sudden burst of strength and destroys the cage after he's let all of these things happen. All these detrimental things to their plan. And it's not even like he struggled. He just went, "Arr!" And it works.
It was the heart of the lion. When they started fucking
he was
saying
the Lion Slayer. They called him the Lion Slayer, and I laughed out loud.
That was the first line of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I knew we were in for something special. But then the fight scene happens between the Transformers, and we realize that we're really in for something special.
It was great.
Up until that point, you and I were chuckling every now and then they turn into Transformers.
Just out of nowhere.
Oh, they're literally just you want to fight, bro? Yeah, I want to fight. Okay.
In the intro to the movie, they're these gods could turn into these crazy creatures. Okay.
That's all they say.
And then all of a sudden, they just turn into them. Oh, it was great.
Okay, can we talk about what I think my favorite portion of the movie is?
The snakes?
No.
No?
It's better than the snakes.
I disagree.
How fucking stupid did every wide shot look? Because they made every actor look like they were midgets, and all of the gods look like they were 9 feet tall. So they made the gods look really tall in the movie, but they made all the actors look small, all the mortals look small. So when everyone's walking beside Jamie Lannister, but they're up to his chest.
They looked like midgets, but not proportioned to being midgets, so they just looked really skinny.
Yeah, and there are like wide shots of them like walking together, and it looked awful.
Looked terrible. Like, legitimately terrible.
But they had money for space pirates, at least.
I loved it.
Okay, I have a feeling you really want to talk about fire-breathing rock snakes.
The rocks... Okay, so they stole a plot device from the Thunderbirds movie. The original one.
Don't bait me, you fuck.
It's his favorite movie of all time.
Shut up.
Alright, so there's a scene where they're going through this, like, old temple place. And these snakes, with these, like, snake rider chicks, chase them.
Yeah, because, okay, well, this is after the we're gonna die when all the orc-like creatures couldn't kill them.
I think they were minotaurs.
Were they minotaurs?
Of
so the
something,
minotaurs
they were
tried killing them.
Ox people.
We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Then he wakes them up from being knocked out by going, "We are going to die." And then they wake up and they live happily ever after. So that doesn't work. So then Gerard Butler sends the two people he probably should have sent from the get-go after them. And then they say, "We're going to go." And they just show up into a random scene riding rock snakes.
That were, like, probably 10 stories tall.
That breathe fire.
Yep. They were dragon rock snake.
We're not making this up.
Yeah. And they obviously, and the snakes are obviously trying to kill the guy, so they do the whole, like, I'm gonna use the mortal as bait and everything. And so the original plan is he's gonna, like, use the mortal as bait, then, like, stab the snake in the top of it, in the bottom of its, like, jaw. And, you know, in any normal movie that would kill it, it's not good enough for this movie. No.
Oh, they pull a Tremors.
Yep, so that's a good point. I didn't make
I
that
thought
connection.
that's why you were laughing so hard.
They legit stole a plot device from Tremors, apparently. And they sent
chicken.
one snake off a giant ass cliff.
By essentially playing chicken.
Is that what they did? I don't think
it was
they,
more or less,
did
I'm
something
gonna
else.
run to the ledge. I'm gonna get to the ledge. And then they beat it to the ledge.
Something like that. I don't know. Either way, they had to send a snake off like a fucking 1,000-foot cliff that was just there. Mm-hmm. Because of course it was, right? Yeah. There was no evidence that there was even a cliff before that point.
No, but Alex Proyas really likes making things appear out of nowhere.
So that was the first snake, and then there was the other snake.
We're getting into Jedi mind tricks right now?
Yeah. Okay, so
take it away.
Jaime Lannister's love interest decides that she's going to tag along with these guys now because it's that part of the movie. And there's the other snake there. So she appears, and then the snake's going to, like, breathe fire onto her, or because that's what snakes do, obviously. And before it can do that, she looks at the snake and is like, wow, you're really pretty. Because she's the goddess of love, right? And her charisma roll must have been fantastic.
She rolled a d20.
She had like a 20. She had like a 19 or a 20 in charisma, and then rolled a d20. Mm-hmm. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And she manages to seduce this 10-story tall, fire-breathing snake.
Rock snake.
Yeah. And she manages to calm it down. And you're like, okay, cool, the snake's calmed down. And then she orders it to set itself on fire until it explodes.
Yes. My question in this scene is, why didn't the chick riding the rock snake jump out? She just let herself be lit on fire.
Maybe her D20 roll was so effective it affected all the enemies in the surrounding area.
No, she was screaming. It was like, no.
Yeah,
no!
but you can be seduced and still be in pain.
No.
Like it's not, seducing isn't a pain inhibitor. It's like, yeah. So I don't. Plus, if she jumped off a 10-story snake, I think she'd die anyways.
That's a good point.
Even if she was a god.
Okay. So this movie has
how many gods were there? Like, okay,
flamethrower.
No, but I mean,
flamethrowing grandpa.
No, like not like that.
We're not listing them.
Not like that. No. But there was like a bunch of other ones that were still bleeding like gold and shit, but weren't named gods. So were they all gods as well? Like just as powerful? Because some of them obviously weren't. Because I know there's like main gods in Egypt. There's probably like a ton of them, but I find it hard believing that all of these like named Egyptian gods would just be getting like randomly killed as peons.
I don't know. Do you know what I just remembered? Do you remember Jaime Lannister's introduction? Where he wakes up after a wild night of partying, and there's just thousands of people like spewed out on his floor, like hung over. They weren't dead. They were just passed out on his floor, and they're like, "You had a rough night, didn't you?" And that's how our main character is introduced. What the fuck is this movie?
Also, Jaime Lannister looked older than Gerard Butler.
Yes, he
and
did. But they were gods, so maybe Gerard Butler like
works out more.
He's fucking Gerard Butler, but the casting is wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, yeah, his suit made him look like Iron Man too, and that made me laugh.
Everything about Gerard Butler is perfect in this movie, even his accent.
Oh my god. The Scottish
Egyptian god.
Also, Anubis was also one of my favorite characters.
I don't even know who the fuck that was.
He was the Grim Reaper thing.
Why?
Because they literally just turned him into a Western-style Grim Reaper, and it was great.
That's weird. I don't understand.
And so Mortal Guy's love interest is walking towards the afterlife, right?
Okay, first off, let's go to her death scene. Because I laughed out fucking loud. The first time this beautiful green screen technique of wallpaper is used, they're in a carriage. And then this random fucking arrow, green screen, still looking like wallpaper, hits her. And he's like, "No, don't die." Green screen still looks terrible. And we're supposed to feel bad. But all I could focus on was how good the special effects were.
Also, the first arrow hits her directly in the heart, and the second one literally flies across the street and misses.
He had a rough day. He was only 50-50 that day.
And also, it was the builder that shot them.
Yeah,
not one of the highly trained.
Did he have special powers? Like, they didn't even fucking hint towards that.
No, he was just a normal guy. So I would assume one of the guards would hit her or something. But no, this guy is just like he's like contractor basically. But bow and arrow, man, that's his hobby.
Okay, and before we move on, I think we need to point out that before this movie gets amazing, it's about 20-25 minutes in. That up until that point, there was the ridiculous god turning into metal Falcon fight scenes, Transformers. Yep. There was that, and you're like, well, this is going to be a good time. But then the movie ceases to just stop, cut to 1 year later, and just focus on Hayden Christensen stealing things for no reason. Jaime Lannister's no longer in the movie. He's out of the movie for a bit. And we just focus on this guy, and he's...
Also, apparently they're enslaved, but he can still just walk around and do whatever he wants.
I didn't understand that.
Literally, exactly
do you know what else I don't understand? How the hell she found those blueprints for that tomb so quickly in a room literally full of blueprints?
I mean...
There were thousands of them, and she's like, "Oh, here it is." He's like, "Thanks." And then left. And then got through puzzles by... being weird.
So Hayden Christensen reenacted one of his favorite scenes in Attack of the Clones during that puzzle as well.
At some point, yeah.
So he has to go and steal one of the artifacts back.
He has to steal Jaime Lannister's missing eyeball. That's not an artifact. It's Jaime Lannister's eyeball.
And to do that, he has to go through this weird conglomeration of the wizard chest scene from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And the droid factory scene from Attack of the Clones.
And it's a little bit of Temple of Doom.
Little bit too. And then and don't
get me wrong, all three of those things by themselves are awesome.
Yeah.
This scene is pretty weak in comparison to the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. Although we were laughing a bit. But we had no idea the laughs that were coming.
Also, there was a pit of scorpions below
him. Oh my god!
Right? And, pit of scorpions, standard,
and I think the direct
but
line
scary.
of dialogue was, wow, that's a lot of scorpions. I think it was delivered. I think I said that with more emotion and emphasis than he uses in every line.
Literally every line is just, we are going to die. And
That's a lot of scorpions.
Whenever he
I love you.
Whenever he jumped over something, it was, ah! Like, the delivery on all of Hayden Christensen's clones' lines is holy crap. And so they're in the rock. They have the rock, the scorpions, and he throws a rock down to the scorpions, and they all try to sting the rock. And I'm like, that's funny. Scorpions trying to sting a rock. That's humorous. And eventually he gets the eye. And then he falls down by the scorpions and just shines the eye at them, and they all run away. Why have the scorpions there if they're scared of the very artifact you're trying to get? Is that not a design flaw?
Why didn't he get murdered by Gerard Butler when his flawless architecture was broken?
Because he was the main character.
No, the architect guy, who built the unbreakable tomb that no one can ever get. Why didn't Gerard Butler just fucking kill him at that point?
The architect?
Yeah. He lied, and clearly someone broke into his unbreakable tomb.
Yeah.
That makes sense for every... Gerard Butler literally murdered people for looking at him weird. Like, there's nothing... Like, for no reason he would kill people. He kept that guy alive way too long, Chris.
I think he needed to finish the giant random Washington State Monument lookalike.
But do you want to know why? Oh, so let me get this right. He builds the biggest statue in the world for his father.
So his dad can see it. Yeah,
it's huge.
His dad on his space pirate ship.
Yeah. So then there's a scene where Gerard Butler is speaking with his dad on his space pirate ship, and the dad literally says, "Yeah, I saw it. It was nice." And that they spent so much time talking about this fucking thing being built, and the movie addresses it by the reason why it was built was so the dad could say, "Yeah, it's nice, thanks."
And then he stabs his dad.
Yes, and then takes his flamethrower. Wait, does he take his flamethrower?
His laser flamethrower, yeah.
Yeah, because he was shooting laser beams around at the end.
Mm-hmm. And then he was trying to, direct the space worm to drink the Nile. And then they had their giant... Jamie Lannister and Gerard Butler have their giant fight and everything. And Lannister wins. And then, all of a sudden, Jamie Lannister's dad, who got stabbed... Lannister gives him back his staff, and the old guy just wakes up instantly, flies back down over the planet, or the concrete slab of the earth.
Oh my god.
Literally does the Egyptian god equivalent of spraying a cat with a bottle of water to the space worm, and it just leaves. And then Jamie Lannister's dad just goes back up into a space pirate ship. Presumably to spray more water at the space worm.
Every day, Jamie Lannister's father would spray things at the space worm.
Yep. It was
watch today?
It was his white whale.
But he caught it every day.
He didn't catch it. It's still there. It's still out there. Yeah. The point of Moby Dick is that man is the monster. And there he is torturing that space worm every single day.
This movie has layers to it. Would you look at that?
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what else we can do or say. Editing this is already going to be a giant pain.
I'm not editing this.
This is all over the fucking place.
Nope. This is going up in its entirety.
Cool.
Yeah.
Your fans probably think you're insane right now, and that you.
I think I'm insane after watching this movie.
This movie makes you feel like you're suffering from a stroke.
Okay.
Because you can't comprehend what you're seeing in front of you. And you actually think that you're losing your mind or some cognitive ability while watching this thing. Because you think to yourself, why is there a giant space pirate ship in a movie called Gods of Egypt? What the hell are we doing here? Why does the Sphinx just give up and say, "Oh, bother"? Why does anything happen?
Oh, bother. It's not... It's my favorite
He was
line.
British!
Yeah, it wasn't.
Why the fuck was the Egyptian Sphinx British?
Why were half the characters British? Okay, so this is the type of movie that you go and see with a couple other people that you know you're going to laugh at it with. You go sit in the back of the theater so no one else is going to be able to hear you, and you just let all of it like bleed into your head. All the visuals, all the dialogue, everything. Just take it all in, because honestly, I was left speechless after the movie.
We applauded.
Yeah,
We were the only ones.
It was literally, oh my god.
It sounds like we're complaining a lot, because
I'm not.
we kind of are. At least I am. But I believe that my complaints are out of a true love for this.
Yeah, like, okay, so this movie is, like, I was more entertained by this movie than I was Jupiter Ascending. Like, 100%.
I don't know if I can go that far yet.
No, this trumped bees being able to sense royalty for me. The space Moby Dick trumps bees.
Yes.
So
The Space Moby Dick scene by itself. But I see your Space Moby Dick, and I raise you Elephant Man.
Elephant, no, because we had like 7 elephant men. They were just like oxen this time. It was fine. Go see this movie. It sounds like I'm bitching. Go watch it. You won't regret it. You can't. You got to go in with like 2.5 hours, and you'll just.
How long is this in minutes?
Slightly too long.
Oh, I'm sorry. We said, I think we overestimated the budget a little bit when we were first talking about
By
it.
$100 million.
Yeah. So I think it costed $140 million.
That's fair.
Some of it showed, some of it didn't.
Yeah, like, seriously, just go watch the movie. I actually think it's really great. It's not a good movie, but by God, Oh, wait, was it? Go down. We're on the IMDb page right now. Hit that one. I want to see what else is the smart guy being in.
I recognized him. Yeah, he's a good actor. He was in 42, Get On It.
It does not show in this movie. Oh my God, he's the star of Black Panther? Oh, shit.
I think...
Oh.
Well, all he's been in is good. So maybe Gods of Egypt is like
this. Oh my, he was the Eddie Redmayne of this movie.
No, Gerard Butler was the
No.
Eddie Redmayne. Yes.
No, I disagree.
Just
with
Gerard
that.
Butler was a more entertaining Eddie Redmayne.
No.
Okay, fine. I actually disagree with you entirely. I take back what I said. This movie didn't have an Eddie Redmayne.
You know, it was
That is the one thing I will give Jupiter Ascending over this movie, no matter what. As much as we make fun of little Hayden Christensen,
his clone,
his clone, as much as we made fun of him, as much as we've been shitting on these actors, no one got to the level of Eddie Redmayne.
I disagree. I think Mr. Black Panther guy did. He was the only character I legitimately couldn't stand. He actually made me angry because the way his character presented himself and the way he talked made 0 sense for the setting.
Yes.
And like, to be fair, the other ones had like bad accents and everything. This one was like it. I don't understand how anyone heard him speak as that character, dressed the way he was, and was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You keep doing what you're doing. I think that's kind of it.
One last question.
Okay.
Do you think this deserves a 26 score on Metacritic?
Yes.
I think 26 is fairly appropriate.
Now, I'm a firm believer that if a movie is so bad it's good, it still deserves a very low score. I think because the worst movies in my mind have always been the ones that I hover around, like right around the middle of. And I'm talking like, you know, like Men in Black 2 and like all these other like just mediocre movies. And those ones are the ones that bore me to death. This is not that movie.
No, we were a little worried this movie was going to be that a couple days ago. Like, we saw this before Star Wars. Opening day Star Wars. And you and I started pissing ourselves laughing in the theater and looked at each other and said, we're watching this damn movie. I am so happy we did, because what the trailers don't tell you is how just insane it's gonna be.
Yeah, every scene, almost every scene in this movie is batshit insane.
I think another crazy part is that with the like 90% of the trailer was in the last fight scene.
Yeah,
it's like him flying up.
Yeah,
like all the stuff of Jaime Lannister as the giant metal falcon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all that stuff was in the trailer. It's all in the final fucking fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting for that.
And
one.
the snakes were in the trailer. I was super pumped when I saw them.
Yeah, but the snakes were about halfway through the movie, so at least made a little bit of sense. The giant fire-breathing rock snakes.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking over at Relevant News. It is saying Gods of Egypt heading for epic box office flop. Gods of Egypt, according to Variety, another Dark Horizons, don't even know what that is, said Gods of Egypt looking to flop hard. Apparently...
Do not let this movie flop. Go see it. I want a trilogy. I want sequels.
I would die.
I want, if nothing, I will take a direct-to-DVD sequel.
What if Gods of Egypt 2, written and directed by the Wachowskis, starring Eddie Redmayne
and Charming Potato,
and Gerard Butler, in the same movie? No Mila Kunis, because no one cares or likes Mila Kunis.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Discount Hayden Christensen would be back.
Along with
Chadwick Boseman, who's your favorite actor of all time. And he would show up in the Black Panther suit.
Can we have real Hayden Christensen as well to be like flash forwards?
Only if he has to go yippee once.
That was a different actor entirely.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay. No, I wanted to play the same character he did in Shattered Glass, which is, I guess, also essentially the same character he did in the prequels. They're very similar. I still maintain that Hayden Christensen wasn't terrible in the prequels. It was just the lines he was given. Okay, so I think we're done.
I think so.
Okay.
We're on Star Wars now.
Did any of this make any sense? I don't know.
The answer's no.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I'd be super appreciative. I am Patty Jack, and I will see you guys at some point in the future. This movie honestly makes me want to do movie reviews, and when this comes out, I'm buying it, and I'm doing a full review.